What's good with y'all, man? I'm back with another one. And in this video, I just wanted to explain how breathing from your lungs is not correct. Breathing from your lungs actually do more damage than you think. You may be wondering, how come? How come breathing from your lungs, breathing from your chest is wrong? And how is it doing more harm to me than good? And how can I reverse this effect? I'm gonna break something down for y'all, right? When you are just coming out the womb, as a baby and as a toddler, you naturally breathe from your stomach. Most adults shift to chest breathing, lung breathing due to stressful environments, etc. And a lot of the times we have to manually practice our correct way of breathing again. We have to manually correct ourselves, and we have to consciously be taking action to do what's best for us, right? Now I'm finna explain why it is that lung breathing, breathing from your chest, is incorrect. Your chest muscles and your shoulder muscles and your neck muscles have to all actively work together to lift your rib cage to be able to pull in the air, right? And these muscles are more connected to the sympathetic nervous system than the parasympathetic nervous system. And the sympathetic nervous system is basically the fight or flight when you're anxious, when you're stressed, whatnot. The parasympathetic is what's bringing you at ease, the calm state of your being or whatnot. So your chest, shoulders, and your neck muscles are more connected to the sympathetic nervous system through something called the thoracic nerve. The thoracic nerve is basically connected and supplies the chest, shoulder, and neck muscles. So when your chest, shoulder, and neck is used to breathe and to carry your rib cage, they're activated. And when they're activated, they are in the sympathetic nervous system. When your muscles are resting, etc., that's when the parasympathetic is more at play. But when you are breathing from your chest and your lungs are being risen, your rib cage is also being risen and expanded, the chest, shoulder, and neck muscles are under tension, right? So day to day, you're breathing from your chest. Your chest, shoulder, and neck muscles are always active. So your sympathetic nervous system is always active. So this is the first reason why lung breathing is incorrect. It puts your body in a constant state of anxiousness, etc. Even if you don't personally feel that way, that's what's happening. When you are lung breathing, you are not using all of your percentage of breathing. When you are chest breathing, you are only activating the upper lobes of your lungs, right? And what I mean by chest breathing is basically when you're chest breathing, your stomach sucks in, and when you exhale, your stomach expands. This is what's known as chest breathing, lung breathing. So the lower lobes of your lungs are not being activated. It's only the upper lobes of your lungs being consistently activated from your chest breathing. And this is not efficient. This is not efficient at all. It's very insufficient because the lower lobes of your lungs is what's most responsible for breathing, right? So you're not even using your full capacity of breathing. So when you are chest breathing, you're not actually getting sufficient oxygen exchange through your lungs and for your whole body. You're not getting sufficient airflow because you are putting stress on your muscles that aren't even supposed to be used mainly for breathing. Not only that, you are putting more stress on your lungs and your whole body because it doesn't have enough oxygen. It doesn't have sufficient oxygen exchange. So this is another reason why lung breathing is not good for you. You don't really get sufficient oxygen exchange. And in the midst of all that, it also disrupts your digestive coordination because blood flow is first off not being optimized in your whole body. So off the rip, your digestion is going to be slower and it's going to be less efficient. It's going to be harder for you to digest food, right? So this increases the risk of all type of digestive issues, mainly the passage of hardened stool, appendicitis, etc., because your digestion isn't smoothly flowing as it should be, because chest breathing diverts energy from your digestive processes and so many other processes in the body. And that's a very big problem as well. So now that I have broke down why lung breathing is not the correct way of breathing, I'm going to break down the correct way of breathing. So breathing from your stomach, which means on exhale, your stomach expands, and on exhale, it sucks back in. This is the correct way of breathing. This is the natural way of breathing, right? When you use your diaphragm to breathe, your diaphragm is 80% of your breathing. And the diaphragm is 80% of your breathing because it's the main passageway to get in the lower lobes of the lungs fully oxygen enriched. So when you're not using your diaphragm, the lower lobes of your lungs, which is the most used for breathing, is not being optimized. Your lungs are not fully being your lungs are not at the full capacity. Your body is not at the full capacity of oxygen. So when you are breathing from your stomach, inhale and it expands, and on exhale, it sucks back in. You are actually getting more oxygen to the lower lobes of your lungs. So when you use your diaphragm, which is what stomach breathing is, the lower lobes of your lungs are being used effectively, right? Most of the blood supply in your lungs goes to the lower lobes of your lungs because of gravity. So your lower lobes is actually the most important when it comes to oxygen. It handles oxygen the most in the lungs, and the diaphragm is the main passageway to get in these lower lobes sufficient blood supply, sufficient oxygen, etc. So basically, the diaphragm creates a vacuum effect. It expands and it sucks in, allowing the air to just be sucked into the lungs very easily, right? So what this does is so many great benefits to this. Since your diaphragm is what's being used and what was intended to be used for breathing, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system. It activates the parasympathetic through something called the vagus nerve, right? The diaphragm directly activates the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve is the gateway to the parasympathetic, just as the thoracic is the gateway to the sympathetic. So when you are diaphragmatic breathing, which is the correct way of breathing, your body is already in a rest and digest state. So this comes with calmness, ease, etc. And also this lowers the risk of things like hardened stool getting stuck in the digestive system, etc. because the diaphragm actually massages the intestines. It massages all the organs that's right there with it. When your diaphragm is expanding, it soothes and it massages the internal organs. So your digestion is way more sufficient. Your digestion way more smooth. Hardened stool can pass way easier. Food can pass way easier. Digestion is quicker, more efficient, right? So you will have way less digestive issues from breathing through your diaphragm, which is inhaling, expanding your stomach on inhale and sucking it back in on exhale. And this does take practice, right? It takes practice because most of us aren't used to breathing from our stomach because of the shift our body naturally made throughout our years of living. So this is something that you most likely will have to manually, consciously switch and change, right? So the diaphragm massages the internal organs and it puts your body in a state of calmness, etc. through the vagus nerve. So off the rip, your body is already becoming more efficient. Your body is already more oxygenated. Your body is already getting more blood supply to organs, etc. because it's in a state of ease. This is lowering inflammation, controlling inflammation, I should say, because inflammation is needed, but it controls your inflammation. Whereas chest breathing destabilizes your inflammation. It keeps it out of order. When you are diaphragmatic breathing, it keeps inflammation under control, etc. So automatically breathing from your stomach decreases so many health risks. For example, also, if you have high blood sugar or low blood sugar, diaphragmatic breathing helps your high or low blood sugar get back at a baseline. When you are chest breathing, it keeps it even more unstabilized. So if you got high blood pressure or low blood pressure, you should definitely be breathing from your stomach. You should definitely be diaphragmatic breathing because it helps your blood stay oxygenated. It helps the blood get high sugar, optimize high sugar, process high sugar better and expel it from the body. It helps low blood sugar come up and be more stabilized. Of course, you have to eat certain foods, etc., to maintain a stable blood sugar, but diaphragmatic breathing helps a lot with that. also mental clarity, etc. Everything is enhanced with diaphragmatic breathing because this is the correct way we are supposed to be breathing, right? And I know a lot of people do chest breathe, but they deep chest breathe, right? Deep chest breathing is better than shallow chest breathing, which basically a deep, slow breath, and you got, right? Deep chest breathing is better than shallow chest breathing. But surprisingly, stomach breathing, shallow stomach breathing is better for you than even deep chest breathing because you are still not using your body's organic rhythm of breathing. So your body is still going to be out of order. It's still going to activate the sympathetic nervous system when you are chest breathing because your chest, shoulder, and neck muscles are still being activated, which they are directly correlated to what I said, the thoracic nerve, which is directly correlated to the sympathetic nervous system. So even when you are deep chest breathing, which is better than shallow chest breathing, it is better, but it's not optimal, right? Even regular breathing from your stomach is better, way better than deep chest breathing because your body's in its organic rhythm. And like I said, the diaphragm is already 80%, 60 to 80% of your breathing because it's directly expanding and helping enrich the lower lobes of your lungs, which chest breathing does not do. So automatically off of those just key factors, chest breathing is very, very much not optimal for living, day-to-day living. Now it's different. When you are working out, it's not as easy to control your stomach breathing. You may just shift to chest breathing and it happens like that. But even when it comes to exercising, diaphragmatic breathing from your stomach is way more efficient for exercising than chest breathing. It increases cardio, stamina, etc. when you are diaphragmatic breathing because your body is getting a way more richer oxygen pool, right, than chest breathing. So you are going to be more tired, etc. when you are chest breathing, working out, than when you are breathing from your stomach. And this also plays a part in smoking as well. Now, of course, if you're smoking in general, it's going to harm your body. It's like there's nothing you can just completely do that's better than stopping smoking to heal your body, right? But even when you are smoking, digestive, what the fuck, stomach breathing is way better on your body than chest breathing when you are smoking. When you are smoking and you are damaging your lungs, chest breathing only causes more inflammation in your lungs, only causes more issue with your body from the smoking that's already taken place because since smoking already has your body in a state of less oxygen, when you are chest breathing, you are just making your body even less oxygenated, causing more issues throughout your whole body. But when you are smoking, but you are using your diaphragm to breathe, it can clear up surface level complications when smoking. Even if you stop smoking for 3 days, it can help, and it can help kind of deter some of the effects, but overall it's still going to have effects on you because you are smoking. But diaphragmatic breathing can help with that in ways, right? And a lot of us, we have weak diaphragms because, like I said, our body naturally shifted to chest breathing from stress, etc. in our life. So our diaphragm is not efficient. So you may be trying to manually switch to diaphragmatic breathing and it's not going to be easy. It will take time because your diaphragm is most likely weak, and smoking also weakens your diaphragm. It weakens your lungs and your diaphragm, making it harder for your diaphragm to be used to help oxygenate your lungs. So all of this is tied in. It takes work, it takes practice to strengthen your diaphragm again after it's been weakened from smoking or just not using it. Your diaphragm can also shrink from smoking. So it's a lot of issues that are caused by smoking. Even though this is not a smoking video, it's just tying into breathing because I'm speaking on the correct way of breathing and the effects of it, of certain things on your breath, etc. Right? So your diaphragm is very important for breathing. 100%. It's the most important aspect of your lungs getting good support and great oxygen, great blood supply, etc. And for your body to stay at ease as a whole. Mind-gut connection. So if you have a stabilized gut, if your digestive processes is more smoother, etc., that travels to your brain. It's connected to your brain and the rest of your body. If you have a good gut, good air, your body is gonna follow along. You know, you're gonna be more at ease. The vagus nerve is connected to the diaphragm, which is connected to the parasympathetic. So you will be more at ease alone just from practicing diaphragmatic breathing and shifting your body to naturally and subconsciously breathe from your diaphragm. You know, I don't really have too much more to speak on. That's really the conclusion of this video or whatnot. You know, I feel like I touched on everything I needed to touch on, put some science behind it or whatnot. We are naturally supposed to breathe from our stomach. Expand your stomach, and it's not going to be easy, like I said, because a lot of us have weak diaphragms. When I first started switching to diaphragmatic breathing, it was not easy. If I really didn't even feel myself breathing. Like, it was hard for me to even really get a full breath from my stomach, from breathing in from my stomach to oxygenate my lungs and have it get sufficient airflow, because I was smoking, etc. So it was hard for me to make that transition, but I ended up making it, and now I naturally breathe from my stomach, right? And I'm more at ease in a lot of situations. But yeah, that's really the end of this video. I don't really feel like I have nothing else to touch on. I touched on every point that I wanted to, every main point I wanted to speak on this video. So yeah, that's really the end of this video or whatnot. Hope y'all enjoyed it, gained some type of insight, clarity, some type of new profound knowledge that can help you in your life. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Good, great ad video. I'm talking about amazing ad.